That I've decided to do the same thing. I'm going to be Hillary Clinton now, and that's and just change it like that. Well, I mean, she did say.
And now all of a sudden you got to look her up.
Yeah, she did say that she was different though from Barack Obama because she was a woman, Gavin.
Oh my God, I'm so tired of melanin and genitalia in political elections. Can we have some nerds, please? Can we have some economics and some foreign policy? Politics is Dungeons and Dragons. We need nerds in the White House, not cool people and not women just because they're women.
Another one.
Now, we have this idea that before feminism came along in the 60s and the 70s, that domestic violence against women was completely socially acceptable. Now, I don't understand how one can come to that conclusion when the President of the United States wanted to bring back corporal punishment, which had been banned, right, in most states at that time, exclusively to punish men who batter their wives. And especially since the treatment in communities for men who were battered by their wives, of which there were many, and you can see friezes and artwork from the 1600s and the 1700s that show women battering their husbands with their rolling pins and their skillets and all of that. Robbie Burns' Ode to a Henpecked Husband, all of those things. There were women who were abusive to men at that time. And the treatment that the community gave those men was either the Skimmington Ride, which was the practice of the community coming around the house at night and beating pots and pans and screaming and throwing things at the house to shame him for allowing himself to be beaten by his wife, or they put him on a donkey backwards, holding its tail, and rode him around the town square and threw, or strapped him to a cart, and threw rotten fruit and vegetables at him to shame him for allowing his wife to beat him. Okay? And these things have been just quietly erased from modern scholarship and modern accounts of history. Right? Back when we thought it was okay to beat your wife, right? When we thought it was okay to beat your wife, at least when it was extremely egregious, particularly egregious, we'd strap the guy to a whipping post and give him 30 lashes. When your wife was beating you, right, it was you that got punished by the community, right? So I don't know that feminism has a balanced perspective on any of these things. I really don't.
Another one.
You know, how do you make a case when they were providing 16 of the 20 mandated items, and the ones they didn't was like the morning after pill because they believe life begins at conception? Can't you respect somebody's deeply held religious views?
First of all, I don't believe that commercial business has religious views.
It's a family business, a family-owned, run business.
Okay, and what if that family were Christian Scientists? Could they deny all health care? I think we've taken the idea that...
That's a horrible misunderstanding of the Religious Freedoms Restoration Act.
I am sorry. I'm quite familiar with religious freedom.
Apparently you're not, because you apparently, Patricia, you're not familiar with it.
I'm sorry. Do I get to speak, or is she just going to dominate over everything I try to say?
I'll correct you. If you want to dominate, then bring more intelligence to the debate.
All right.
Fatality. Another one.
You said you weren't much of a father when they were young.
No.
You better now?
Much. I get better as people get older. But most men are pretty hopeless when newborn bundles arrive. And they're so incredibly impressed by how women appear to know what to do. And then they think, well, I'll go off and do extra work and make some money, and they justify it in that way.
Christopher, I've heard you say this.
Yeah. And now you're hearing me say it again?
No, but my point would be that I think after the 70s that is actually not true. That may have been true. But I don't think that is true, that men are so less capable of dealing with children, and that it's better that they go off and earn money. You know, maybe the mother could go and earn some money. Did that never occur to you?
I'm not having any woman of mine go to work.
You know you're going to get into trouble if you go down there.
No, I won't. No, they don't need to work. They can if they like, but they don't have to.
You are joking, aren't you?
No, I'm not. No, I would expect to take care of them. Work if you want, but you don't have to.
You are the commander's son, aren't you?
Yes. I am, yes.
You really mean that?
Sure.
You don't think women should go and work?
Yeah, I said they're welcome to do that. I'm thrilled if they want to. If they don't want to, they don't have to.
Is this
That's
you
what
being
I'm-
ironic?
that's what I'm
Is this
there
your
for.
famous attachment to irony?
No. What's so difficult about it?
It's just wrong. It's just absolutely wrong.
No, they're called the gentle sex for a good reason. You want to see them. You want to see them coarsened in the coarsened in the labour market? No, not if they don't want to. They
You're
shouldn't feel
61,
they shouldn't feel
Christopher,
they
not
have to.
180.
No, that's my view. I don't think a Mrs. Hitchens should have to work.
It's been lovely to have you. Thank you so much.
No, it's very nice of you to invite me.
Please, a huge thank you to the sexist but charming Christopher Hitchens.
Thank you, Dan. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. It.
You had to say it. Thanks a lot.
The second principle that animates the left is group justice rather than individual justice. There's another name for group justice, that's social justice. Social justice, you should understand, is actually evil. Social justice, when people say it, it's an actual evil. Because anytime you put a modifier in front of a term that is inherently good, you turn it into a perversion of itself. Damn! So correctness, right? If you are correct, there's truth and there's something false, you are correct. Once you add political in front of that, you're not talking about truth and falsity anymore. You're talking about if you say the wrong thing, you get shot. Damn! The same thing is true of social justice. Justice is a good. You do something, it's either good or it's bad, and you get what you deserve. That's what justice is. Add social in front of that, and you're inherently saying injustice is better than justice. Damn! Right? Social justice suggests that, I, as a supposedly white man, Jews became white people as soon as we became successful in America. I, as a white man, I'm responsible for paying slavery reparations, for example, in the name of social justice, even though all of my ancestors were busy getting killed by Cossacks in Russia at the time that slavery was taking place. Damn! And less than 5% of white Americans alive today have ancestors who ever held slaves. Damn! Every white person in America, though, has to pay because of group justice. How is that just? It's not. But it's group justice. It's social justice. And valuing the collective, valuing people in terms of groups rather than individuals, is how you get to the point where murder in the name of the collective is okay. Damn! All you have to do to see this is just compare the American Revolution, which was about individualism, with the French Revolution, which was about collectivism. Right? The American Revolution, John Adams wrote in the Declaration of Rights for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, he specifically wrote about all men being born free and equal with certain inalienable rights. It mirrors the Declaration of Independence in the United States. If you look at the Declaration of the Rights of Man in France during the French Revolution, it's the opposite. The 1789 Declaration of the Rights of Man says, the principle of all sovereignty resides essentially in the nation. No body nor individual may exercise any authority which does not proceed directly from the nation. It says law is the expression of the general will. So the collective always rules the individual. The group always rules the individual. And because the group always rules the individual, and because the group is always, this is a very utopian view of the world, because, see, the left doesn't believe in individual justice or that it can be achieved, but group justice can be achieved. But to pursue group justice is a utopian vision. You have to have this utopia in your head. Well, if the group is more important than the individual, and the individual is in the way of progress, just steamroll the individual. Damn! And that's why you end up with communism killing 100 million people. Damn! Because the bottom line is that if you are seeking equality of outcome on a group level, and somebody is an outlier, well, they're standing in front of the machine, and they have to go. Individuals are either tools of the regime or they are obstacles to the regime. Yeah!